Red Code Alert. Welcome to a special edition of Two of a Kind Sports, the show with passion that meets the game. I am your co-host, D Nice.
And I'm your co-host, Denise.
Today, ladies and gentlemen, we're diving into a recap of the Washington Commanders versus the Seattle Seahawks. You don't want to miss this breakdown. But before we dive in, please do us a favor. Like, comment, subscribe, and smash that bell icon so you never miss when we go live or drop a brand new video. Denise, today is a misery day. As I said, red alert. There's code red. What do you have to say? Everything that's been transpiring in the last 24, now almost 48 hours. I just want to know your thoughts. How do you feel? What went through your mind yesterday? Because I know how I felt when I was at the game yesterday. What went through your mind? How did this go for you?
I was very concerned for Jayden Daniels. I had certain feelings of deja vu, but I had been talking about that throughout this entire season. So it didn't really surprise me. It was very unfortunate, very unpleasant, gruesome to watch. I immediately recognized what it was because I was watching his arm the entire time. And I put in my notes, twisted elbow, dislocation. So I knew what it was. I knew what it was. But there's a lot to unpack here, folks. There's a lot to unpack with this very eventful game where the Commanders hosted the Seattle Seahawks. So when the game began, we stood at 3-5. Seattle came in 5-2. So we are playing a good team, a proven team, a battle-tested team. So the Seattle Seahawks came in, and my request was denied. I did ask you guys to please not admit that 12th man. Seattle's 11 players was more than enough for our Commanders, and that 12th man just really put us underground. So,
and then also that traveling across the West Coast to the East Coast, I thought that was going to make a big difference. It didn't make no difference in this game.
It didn't slow them down in the least. The Seattle Seahawks travel well all the way across the country, from the Pacific Northwest to the East Coast. They came ready, they came prepared, and they performed exceptionally well. So let's get into it, because we're going to do this recap as we normally do, quarter by quarter, but we're going to go very efficiently because we have a lot to discuss in this game. So in the first quarter, the Commanders won the coin toss.
Yay, about time.
Okay. And they opted to receive. They put their offense on the field first. So I agree with that. Okay. But when the Commanders offense took to the field, snap number 1, Daniels runs. Okay. Snap number 2, Daniels runs.
You see the trend?
Nope, he's running too much. Now this game marked Jayden Daniels' return. So this was the return of the Jedi.
Now, Denise, let me ask you this. Do you think those were design runs, or Jayden was
no
because he had to run?
No, you can tell. I mean, you can tell. Those were not designed runs. Those were not the plays that were called.
I agree.
Jayden looked down the field. He did not see what he needed to see from his receiving core.
Because
so
ain't no separation. None whatsoever.
And here's the thing. I have been complaining all season about Jayden Daniels running too much. Okay.
Yes.
However, I do understand that Jayden runs because he has to. Okay. In the game against Seattle, Jayden looked down the field. He didn't see any of his receivers open. And in the meantime, in between time, he had Seattle Seahawks on him. Okay. So he didn't have any pass rush protection. So he had to run.
Yeah, so let me say this to you. It's sometimes, and I agree with you, but sometimes Jayden was missing those open receivers. But I think, Denise, it's because he doesn't have the trust factor in his receivers. On
And
two
he
occasions,
had Seattle Seahawks in his face.
yeah,
He could not look
looking,
beyond. He couldn't see
yes.
beyond because
And they wasn't
those
blitzing or
receivers.
nothing. They was getting pressure. Something
Yeah,
we can't
okay,
do. Something
right.
we can't do. But
So
you're right.
go ahead.
They were in his face, and it's sometimes that I like, oh, Jada Lane's open. But then it also dawned on me too, Denise. It's like, well, maybe Jaden's not looking that way because he don't have trust in his receivers. Jada Lane continues to drop balls just as well as Zach Ertz. So I don't know, but he was under Jaden Daniels, Jedi 5 was under distress all night long.
He was, and here's the thing. To your point,
Mm-hmm.
when you have guys in your face running, and you're running from them,
Yes.
you don't always have the opportunity to check back. See, the problem was when Jayden checked for his receiving core, they were not open.
Mm-hmm.
So at that point, he had to preserve and protect himself from the hits that were coming. So at that point, he has to concentrate on when to slide, if he can get out of bounds. He has to make moves to protect himself at that point. Now, if he had some protection, if he had some blocking, not
mm-hmm.
all, but some,
Mm-hmm.
then he might have the opportunity to continue to look down the field to see who's open. But those guys weren't open when he took the snap. That's when they're supposed to be open or at least close to getting into position from running their routes. So, because the receiving core weren't where they were supposed to be,
Mm-hmm.
Jayden had to run for his life. But I still say Jayden runs too much. And that was my initial thought when I saw the first two plays from the Commanders. Jayden is running. Now, yeah, we know the problems with that. The O-line is not blocking him properly. They're not giving him pass rush protection, and his receiving core are not running their routes properly, or they're not creating separation where he can throw to them, like you said, with confidence, believing that they will catch the ball. So, and then he has to protect himself. This man has been injured 2 times already. This
Three.
is his 3 times. Well,
yeah.
Are we counting this injury?
Yeah, we don't count this injury as 2. That's 3 now. Yes.
Okay, but at this time it was 2.
That is correct.
He had 2 injuries already in one season, and we're at week 9. So he's already had 2 injuries. This was his return. He has missed games behind this, behind being injured. So this was his triumphant return. This was supposed to be the return of the Jedi. Unfortunately, it turned into the Empire Strikes Back because this was not good. And on the Washington's first drive, they had to punt. Then Seattle got their chance to put their offense under Sam Darnold on the field. And they went for, I'm telling you, this drive lasted like 2-3 days. It felt like, this was a super long drive. And I was like, wow, are they trying to win time of possession just on this drive alone? Because,
and they did. They took a substantial amount of time on that first drive.
Tons
I seen it coming. I saw it coming.
And fortunately, they did. Well, not fortunately for us, unfortunately for us, but fortunately for them, they did get a touchdown because Darnold threw to Troy Horton. So they got a touchdown. So it was Seattle 7, Washington 0.
Mm-hmm.
And so as we move along, Washington had to, let's see, we go to the second quarter because I'm moving it along quickly. Washington had an interception.
By who was that? By Vandersteel.
Daniels threw accidentally to
Ty. Oh, you're speaking of when Jayden Daniels threw. Yeah, on that play, Denise, he was in distress and he was trying to. It looked to me because I was watching that play. It looked like he was trying to throw the ball out of bounds, but it didn't get enough flight. And the DB made a good play on that, and he
Yeah, Ty Okada
Yeah, okay.
from
Took it to the house
Seattle
over there. Yeah.
caught the ball, and Jayden was always under duress.
Yes.
Okay, so
The
we
whole
don't need to
night.
say that. That's very repetitive because throughout the entire game, Jayden Daniels was under duress. That's why he was running so much. I mean, he does by instinct run, and he is good at running. He's good at scrambling and all of that stuff. But that is not the formula for success. It is
Not
not
for success.
sustainable
Absolutely.
to have your quarterback constantly running. So, he threw the interception, and I got it because, like you said, we all saw where he was under great duress. He didn't have pass rush protection.
Mm-mm.
So here we go. Seattle gets the ball, and on their drive, Darnold throws again to Troy Horton for his second touchdown.
Yep.
So now we're at Seattle. We're in the second quarter. We're at Seattle 14, Washington still shut out. And then when it was time for us to get the ball,
They scored real
Jayden
quick.
Lane. And I
Mm-hmm.
complained about him last week with the lack of focus, but you gave him grace. Do you take the grace back?
Well,
Do
I'm
you
not.
take it back, or does it stand?
It still stands, but it is still a lack of concentration. I do think the young man is pressing a little too hard to make a big play, but I need him to focus to do his job. That 2 times out of 2 weeks that's hurt us with those fumbles, and
Yeah,
as we see, Seattle put up 14 points within a matter of seconds on us. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Next thing you look up, and then it's like, wow, it was 21-0. And I had told a gentleman that went with me, I said, you know what? I said, they score again before halftime, watch by third quarter, this place is going to start getting empty. And
Empty out.
Denise,
Yeah.
I was not lying. And my section is always live. Okay, I'm in the Gold Club. Denise, it was only me and my guy that went with me. We were the only two that were still in the section. When I looked, everybody was
Wow.
gone. And
Oh,
all you can hear in the stadium was Seahawks. So, oh my gosh, I was getting irritated. You know what I mean? Just to hear that another opposition came in and took over because our fans had left. I mean, it was easy getting home last night too because everybody had left. But
yeah.
the thing that I was really was disheartening to me, this was all for the retirement jersey of Art Monk. Okay, we had on our Super Bowl traditional colors. Our owner had to see at halftime, it was 28-0. To see that mess, Denise, they came out with lack of energy. Coaches, once again, is being outcoached. I don't understand why we seem to not to be able to make on the fly adjustments. It doesn't happen. It's like we always the team that we like to fall behind. This offense is not. We're front runners, if you understand what that means. We have an offense that's a front runner, meaning that we need to be ahead. We're not known to. This offense is not built to come from behind.
Oh, so
And
now you agree with what I said weeks
yeah,
prior when I said we are not the come from behind
yeah,
team.
yeah. And Jayden just was obscuring that because of his talent, but it really showed that. And here we go again, Denise. No complimentary football. Defense this week did not play well.
Right.
And the offense. So it's like, okay, it's like we can never come together. So this was hard, so disheartening. I really expected an effort. You know what I mean? I expected us to come out and play top-notch ball. One, because we were putting Art Monk's jersey in where there was already in rafters, but we were retiring his jersey forever. And to have you had Ricky Sanders that came back. You had Gary Clark, Core Santana Moss. You had B. Mitch. You had all the greats that came back to show homage to a great receiver that we had in this history.
And let's not neglect to mention
And
we
mm-hmm.
have Doug Williams.
Of course, Doug Williams.
First Black quarterback ever.
Yes.
This record will stand. It will never, ever be broken because he's the first. For a long time, he was the only, but he will always and forever be the first Black quarterback to lead his team to a Super Bowl victory. So,
Yep.
we have Doug Williams in the house because he's an employee or he's a member of the Commander's staff.
Commanders, right? Absolutely. So it was good to see. It was good to see that. The light event that they had for him. Remember, like
Light
before.
show.
Oh, that was really beautiful too. I didn't get any footage of it this time. I was too occupied, but it was really nice. Art Monk was, he gave a very heartwarming, even though Art is pretty quiet, you could tell he was choked up and he didn't really say a lot because that's not Art, you know what I mean? But he said enough. So just to, it was a really proud moment, but it wasn't a proud occasion. It wasn't a proud event. My team did not go out there and did not show, your people that set the wave, you know what I mean? In this jersey, as you see right here that I have on, we've had good times and we have bad times. And yesterday, Denise, I swear to goodness to you, it's like my PTSD from Dan Snyder, my PTSD from Jay Gruden, my PTSD from Ron Rivera. All of that was combined all in one yesterday because it seemed like it was deja vu all over again, Denise.
Because
that game yesterday was diabolical. It did not make any sense. I expected more effort. It's just like they didn't come out with no effort at all. And that's something we've been talking about all season, Denise. We've been talking about effort, energy, and starting off fast. And once again, it came to bite us, and you know what again.
Well, didn't that honor reception ceremony for Art Monk remind you of the previous homecoming games where this team honored its Super Bowl champions with a home game, and our team
dunk it up
always lost? I mean, we've been here before.
Yeah.
So if anybody is having feelings of deja vu, it's because similar situations have happened. Some of our worst games have been the homecoming games, the games where we definitely specifically set aside to honor our Super Bowl champions. And then a current team gets on the field and performs horribly.
Not to mention it's prime time. Not to mention it's prime time again.
Yes. Oh, well, it was because we did so well last year. The NFL said you're ready for prime time. Well, apparently we are not ready for prime time. We have all these prime time games that are nationally televised, and we're not doing well. But getting back to the game, because we're gonna get through this fairly quickly. So
it wasn't
like
much to report. It wasn't too much that we did well for us to. We're going to be giving more.
We're just going to report what happened, whether it was good or bad. We just report what happens here on Two Absolutely. So, like you said, Jayden Lane fumbled the ball, and I was concerned about that because last week I talked about Jalen's poor ball handling, where he wasn't securing the ball.
Yes,
and here again this week it popped right out. So we see that Jaylen has a specific problem that needs to be worked on. See, if you see a player repeat certain behaviors, you can target that problem and identify some solutions and change his practices so he can learn to use both of his hands. He's got two hands. He needs to secure the ball now with both of his hands because holding it with one hand is not working for Jayden Lane. Now, if I, Denise, who is not on the Commander's payroll, figure that out, there are people who are getting paid, who have titles, who hold positions, who are supposed to identify and correct these problems. So I need everyone to do better. The people on the field and the coaching staff and the people in the front office hosted and created the honor ceremony. So the people in the front office, I have to give them credit. They are creating great fan game day experiences.
Absolutely.
So they have stepped their game up with that because the fans are very, very pleased with what happens at the stadium when they attend games in terms of the entertainment and honoring our champions from the past. So my complaint, players, coaches, get it together. Okay, so here we have Seattle gets the ball, and just like you said, just like that,
Just
Darnold threw to Arroyo, and here we have another touchdown. So we're at Seattle 21, Washington 0. And this is, like you said, still before the half. We got the ball back. We had to punt. Seattle got the ball again before the half. And let's see, Cody White ran it in for a touchdown for Seattle. So it's Seattle 28, Washington 0. And let's see, right before the half, though, Jedi 5, Jayden Daniels had to take matters into his own hand and onto his own feet. He ran it in for a touchdown, and this was the first score of the Washington Commanders. It did not come from anyone in our receiving corps. It came from our quarterback. Again, that's nice, but it is not sustainable. This is not the recipe. This is not the way to win games. But thank you, Jayden Daniels, because now the score is Seattle 28, Washington 7. Seattle got the ball back, and they kicked a field goal, 41-yard field goal. Their kicker, Jason Myers, kicked a 41-yard field goal. So that put the score up to Seattle 31, Washington 7. So like you said, we're at halftime, 31-7. And we've got everybody who is somebody in the house, including you. All the VIPs were in the house. And this is the performance that our team put forward. And Jayden, when he got his touchdown, he celebrated. Some people criticized him for that. I don't. It's hard to get a touchdown in the NFL. So if you are privileged enough to get one, that is your moment. It is the fruition of your efforts. So if you choose to celebrate your touchdown in the NFL, you can do so. Those who don't appreciate it, ignore it, pass on. You don't have to stay on that, because the people who criticize folks most for scoring touchdowns tend to be people who do not score touchdowns. So there's today's hint. Okay, thank you. So at the third quarter, Seattle, for the first time, had to punt. So here,
probably the only time, because
didn't happen very often.
Donald he only had like 4 incomplete passes the whole daggone game.
Right.
So that's why I said it's not. Even though we're doing a recap, it's more we're doing a recap of Seattle. All the games
we're doing a recap of the people who performed.
Yeah,
we don't
and it wasn't our team. And it was not our team. It was not.
Well, if it was, we'd be talking about what they did, but they didn't give us anything. So we're just reporting what happened in the game. And like you said, it's primarily and predominantly Seattle Seahawks highlights, but that's what happened. So for the first time, Seattle had to punt, and I will give our defense some credit, because this is one time where our defense didn't let Seattle pile on extra points, even though they had so many points that wasn't necessary. But our defense did contain them this one time, unless we can say Seattle kind of removed their foot from the gas.
I think that's what happened. Because
I was trying to give our defense a little bit of so you take my bouquet back.
Yeah, I'm taking it. I'm sorry, Denise.
Okay, return it to the florist.
Yes, give it back.
Okay.
Give it back, because this game could have been worse.
Oh, it could have. Yes,
it could have been worse.
Seattle showed some mercy. So look, here we're still in the third quarter. Daniels got sacked by, let's see, Leonard Williams, Seattle Seahawk Leonard Williams.
And they only rush 4. They only rush 4 each time, Denise. They don't blitz. They get 4 home every time.
Yeah, so we had to punt, and Seattle got the ball back. And during this Seattle drive, Darnold threw right to Sandra Still. So our guy Sandra Still got an interception. So, not all of our guys had completely given up and checked out. So Sandra Still caught that interception. And this is a time also, and I'm trying to give the defense a little bit of credit. They gave our offense added time of possession. They gave our offense an added opportunity to score. So what did our team do with this added possession? Let us see. Punt.
Nothing.
Okay, so they did not capitalize
Nothing.
on the added time of possession. So here we go. Seattle gets the ball again, and Darnold handed it off to A.J. Barner for yet another touchdown. So that we're now at Seattle 38, and Washington has 7 points. Okay. So let's see. We're going on. Washington gets the ball. They have to punt. Fourth quarter. Let's see. Seattle had to punt. This is the second time they had to punt. So Washington gets the ball, and here on this drive, this is where Jayden was running because he had to. I mean, I'm still critical of him running. He still runs too much, but I understand why. He was running. He got tackled, and that elbow really twisted out of place. It got dislocated, and it was Seattle's Drake Thomas,
Right.
linebacker, who tackled Jayden Daniels, where Jayden got really injured. But Jayden, being valiant, being the Jedi that he is, he did not, as much pain as that man must have been in, he did not allow himself to be carted off the field.
Right, he jogged
off.
off.
The cart.
Oh yeah, I saw it too because I thought it was his leg when I initially saw that. You know,
yeah, I knew it was his arm, but the medical staff came over and they were looking at his leg.
Let me say this to you though, Denise. I don't think that run play that Jayden really had to run on that. That was an RPO. Jayden could have gave the ball to Bill that time. Jayden pulled the ball from Bill's stomach and ran in on his own. I wish, because of his frame, his I mean, football is football. But I don't want him to keep taking those unnecessary shots. Just like the one that he scored in early in the game.
Yeah.
A second late, that linebacker would have took his head off.
Right.
I get a little nervous when I see that with him. So this is some things that Jayden is going to have to learn from him for himself. And then his coaching staff. I don't know if it's going to be, if Cliff Kingsbury will be here next year or whoever is here. But I want them to start protecting him a little better. I don't want to take away from what he does best, but I want them to be more strategic in how we go about doing it. This year has just been a total debacle. And yes, injuries have been a key factor. As we seen last night, and we heard reports today, Marshawn Lattimore with a torn ACL. Yeah. Okay, of course, we know about Jayden Daniels with the dislocated elbow. Then you also
Luke McCaffrey,
and then Luke McCaffrey with a broken collarbone. Yeah, with a broken collarbone. So, this is what type of year it has been for us.
I'm sorry, it was the kickoff return. Yes.
Yeah. And
Trey Amos is hurt as well.
Yeah, well, and then prior to the game, Johnny Newton has with his ankle. So when you look at and then I sent you something prior to us today. Did you see that Frankie Louvu is being suspended for 1 game? Did you see that text that I sent you?
I did not see that.
Yeah, they're suspending Frankie Louvu for 1 game for it's considered for the player rules of. Let me see. Let me tell you exactly.
Yeah, let's look into that. I'm sorry, I didn't get what did you text it to me?
I texted to you. Yeah, I texted to you because Adam Schefter had reported earlier, and I was like, man, what is going on? It says.
That is something. I didn't know that Frankie Louvu was suspended.
Adam Schefter had reported that Commanders Frankie Louvu has been suspended without pay for 1 game for repeated violations of playing rules intended to protect the health and safety of players, including during Sunday's game against Seattle. This is Louvu's 3rd hip drop. So they got him for a hip drop.
Yes.
Tackle of the season. He was previously fined for his actions in week 4 and week 8. So now we're going to have another person that's not going to be probably against the Lions, which is going to be a bloodbath anyway. I'm sorry. I don't see where we're going to be able to. We're not going to even be able to hang with them, but I don't know.
That's unfortunate. But see, here again, apparently, and I have to believe that Frankie Louvu is not intentionally breaking the rules. Okay, I don't think that man would put himself in a position
No, I
not
don't
to
think so either.
play and not to get paid. I think he is playing the way he's always played, and he needs to learn to play differently. But see, this is where your coaches have to tailor practices
Mm-hmm.
in order to train the players to play in the way that they should play, because a lot of players have habits that are bad. They have techniques that are not good, and they have to be retrained. And the way you do that is to focus on that problem and you practice them.
Yeah.
So they can get in the habit of doing things the right way and leaving off doing things the wrong way.
Right.
Uh, but to your point, Frankie Louvu is not going to make very much of a difference in the outcome against the Detroit Lions next week when we meet them. But also to your point about Jayden Daniels running when he did not have to,
Mm-hmm.
head coach Dan Quinn confirmed what you said.
Mm-hmm.
Head coach Dan Quinn said that was a play that Jayden Daniels was supposed to hand off the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And after Jayden went out, Marcus Mariota came in to back him up. And Marcus Mariota had no problems handing the ball off. And this is where Chris Rodriguez, and I will give that man his flowers for sure and for certain.
Mm-hmm.
Chris Rodriguez ran it in for a touchdown because Marcus Mariota handed it off to him. Marcus Mariota didn't take off running. Marcus
Right.
Mariota is not trying to scramble, but he's more experienced. He's got more time in the league. He's not in his sophomore year. Okay,
Right.
Jayden, the Jedi. So, but I have to say, running back Chris Rodriguez runs harder than anyone on
Yeah,
our
well,
team.
yeah, he does. I saw Bill miss some holes this week. He was doing too much bouncing around. But once again, Cliff Kingsbury loves to run in between the tackles all the time. There's no toss plays. There's no running on the edges. And I must say this, Denise. I'm going, and I hate doing this comparing this year's team to last year's team.
Well,
But
what
one
else
thing
can you do?
But one thing I'm definitely going to say that I tremendously noticed the difference of, this is a very, very undisciplined team. Last year, we didn't have that problems. When I say undisciplined, we're making dumb mistakes as far as continue personal fouls. We're jumping off sides.
Yeah.
We're lack of focus of catching the balls. I'm talking about your vets too. So I can't say it's all your young guys. I just noticed that the tempo, the energy this year has totally been different. I don't know. It started to make me think that, do we have some type of juju that's on us? I mean, last year we were 12-5. And as I said before, that was a gift and a curse, Denise, because it really showed that it masked a lot of our deficiencies that we have on this roster. As we always said, is we don't have enough team speed. We are old and we need to get younger. So going 12-5 last year, yes, it was wonderful for us as the fan base, but it gave us false expectations, and it really hinder us because, far as our rebuild, as I said, this roster has to get better bottom up, not top to bottom. And we're seeing it now that a lot of our stars have gone down. I'm not going to even really say stars. Jayden is our star, but a lot of our starters have gone down, and we don't have the adequate depth. And who do I blame to that? Well, one, I blame Adam Peters for that, and I blame the coaching staff. Now, Adam picks the ingredients. He gets the groceries. He said, "Here you go, DQ. Here you go, Dan Quinn. Here you go, Cliff Kingsbury. Here you go, Joe Witt. Here you go." Now it's up to you guys to actually develop these people. Where I feel as collectively as a whole, I think they put their eggs into one basket. They didn't have a plan B to what if Terry get hurt, or what if this person get hurt. I know, hindsight is 2020, but every good team last year
we did hindsight though.
Well, no, it is hindsight when you don't know
the draft. You got preseason. Right.
Well,
you got time and opportunities and special events to prepare just for that. And this is how you and I came to the conclusion during the preseason that this team didn't have depth. But they came out in the beginning playing so well, we thought maybe they did have depth. But now that it has been a next man up situation where we have had to resort to the second person, the third person, now we are seeing this team really doesn't have depth. But is that because of the players or the coaches? Is it the players or is it lack of new player development?
It's both. It's both. I give ownership to that, to both. And it's I don't know. I'm so at loss of words because some of it, Denise, I think some of the players bit into the hype of last year as well too. Because even when we're looking at guys like Mikey Sanders, still he gives you a good play, but then he's getting burnt. He's not even playing well now. We're going to see now that Marshawn Lattimore is out for the season. Will Mikey go back outside? Quan Martin has been having a down year to me as well. So it's like, I don't know.
Well, they've been up and down. They've been in and out. They have not been consistent. And that has been to the team's detriment because through all of that, they are not winning. So, but I think
Joe Witt has to come on the page. Did you see now Dan Quinn is saying he wants Joe Witt down on the field now? I want to see how that works out.
I wanted to discuss that with you as well because Dan Quinn had a presser and he did admit in hindsight, because everybody came down on him like a ton of bricks for keeping
and they should have
Daniels in the game. They said he should have pulled him. But I can understand in the moment why Jayden wasn't pulled, because at that time, Jayden was the only person who scored. Okay, he was the only commander who scored, and this was Jayden's triumphant return. And this was Art Monk's tribute night. And there were so many things going on. And Jayden had to sit out last week. So this was the return of the Jedi. So I don't think Jayden even thought about not continuing to play because, any chance of winning was just totally gone and obliterated. I think Jayden wanted to see it all the way through because that's the type of guy he is. He's committed, he's dedicated, and he doesn't want to abandon ship. And he doesn't act like a prima donna where he's expecting to be put on a velvet pillow because he's the starter and he's the superstar. Jayden wanted to be out there in the trenches with his guys, and I get that. I appreciate that. I applaud him for that. And in hindsight, yes, it's easy to say Dan Quinn should have pulled him out of the game, but I think had Jayden Daniels not missed playing in other games, I think that would have been a more clear choice. Let's pull him out because we're actually playing for something and we need to preserve him. But under these circumstances, with Jayden just coming back and Jayden wanting to prove himself and he wants to show people, that he is the leader of this team, I can understand in the moment why he was still in there. But I am not paid to coach this team and preserve this team and look out for this team's long-term interests.
Right.
So Dan Quinn should have been more aware, but I am wondering. Okay.
But he did say at the 12-minute mark he was going to pull Jayden, Laramie Tunsil. He was going to pull several guys, but because the drive that we had and that Jayden had got us down the field where we was about to score, he was giving him an opportunity to go ahead and make it right by scoring. So that's the only reason why, because DQ is really kicking himself in the butt, and he should, because you never want your star player hurt, but
he should have pulled him before then.
Yeah,
so
but he didn't want to make it like it's just a one-person thing. He didn't want to seem like one person is more important than the other, so he was going to pull the unit as a whole. But Denise,
that sounds like excuse making.
Yeah, but that can happen. That can happen next week too. It can happen next week. It can happen the week after. So regardless,
but if he was going to pull Jayden Daniels, let's call a thing a thing. If he was going to pull Jayden Daniels because the game was out of reach, come on now. When was this game within the reach of this team? Come on now. Once you hit halftime, baby, the cards were on the table.
It was 28 to nothing.
Okay. So there is no, I was gonna pull him I don't think he was really considering pulling him, because if he was considering pulling him,
Mm-hmm.
we were in the fourth quarter. We were not winning. We were not even close at any
At
time.
all.
So if you're
Not
going
even
to
a threat.
pull, right. So if you're going to pull your starting quarterback, why wouldn't you let these other guys, Mariota included, have the fourth quarter?
Yes.
Like, why would you put them in when there's only a few minutes left in the game? Like,
Mhm.
that doesn't benefit anybody. It doesn't give you good playing experience if you're inexperienced. It doesn't give you time to get acclimated to playing in the game. It does nothing for you but put you in a losing position where you're already demoralized. So again, Dan Quinn, I have to question your judgment. Okay, your situational awareness. And you all have
Mhm.
heard me say that term many times. Situational awareness, the same way Scary Terry Terry
Mhm.
McLaurin
McLaurin,
knows
yes.
how to plant his 10 toes down in the ground when
Mhm.
he catches the ball. Situationally aware.
Right.
And Dan Quinn, our head coach, did not demonstrate situational awareness. So now he's coming back saying, yes, I should have pulled him. And I
Well,
get it.
but I can respect that he at least taking accountability. You know, some
That's what
people.
people want.
Yeah.
That's what people want. I
Yeah.
should have pulled him. Yes, you are right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I mean, I'm okay with that, because to me it doesn't make a difference.
No, it
It
doesn't.
doesn't
But
change.
it doesn't. But it shows accountability, and that's what we had in past. We never had coaches that took accountability. You know what I mean? They always say
Yeah.
about the players, but I can respect what Dan Quinn said. You know what? It starts with me. You know what I mean? I have to do better, so I can respect that.
But see,
You
come
know,
on now, and I can respect that too. The first, maybe the second time you do it.
right?
But I'm not going to keep on, saying you make different mistakes and then say, well, yeah, we got to do better. Because how many pressers have we watched this season alone where
Yeah.
either Dan Quinn or Cliff Kingsbury or Joe Whitt have come out and said, you know what? Yeah, we need to do better.
Yeah.
We need to do. It is week 9.
It's
You
now
are
time to put
getting.
the coaches up to fire because they got to do better. They send the players. I know the players play and the coaches got to coach, but I need them to call better plays. I need to be more aggressive. You know, we have not been aggressive on both sides of the ball. Both
But
sides
we were
of the
just we were
trenches.
our offense was just more aggressive, not with good outcomes necessarily, but our offense showed under Marcus Mariota up against the Kansas City Chiefs the first half of the game. Marcus Mariota came out, he took charge, no huddle offense. There was a sense of urgency. Kansas City defense didn't know what was going on. They were like, wait a minute, who is this team?
So why can't we do the same thing with Jayden's in? That's what I'm saying. Cliff is not calling the same type of game, even though they are saying that they're calling the same. They're not. They're not calling it.
Well, but then again, Jayden
It's
Daniels
up
is not
tempo.
playing the same game either.
I
He's
get
not,
that.
because when he takes off running, he's not playing the same game. Marcus Mariota is not known for his speed and agility.
Yeah, but he runs a lot of more RPOs with Marcus Mariota than Jayden, if you really pay attention. But with Marcus, he does a lot of quick passes too. I don't see that when JD5 is there unless Terry's in the game. We don't have any play action passes. We don't
But
have
I think
not a lot of slants. We don't
I
get
think
out.
Jayden has something to do with that, based on his
Yeah,
style of play and
yeah,
based
that
on what
too.
he actually does
I
when he
agree.
gets on the field. Because Jayden Daniels freelances a
Mm-hmm.
lot.
Yeah, he
With
has a lot.
Marcus
He has a lot to
Mariota
still to develop as a quarterback as well.
Yes, and so Marcus Mariota, being the veteran that he is, and he knows he's a second string, he's the backup guy. He may stick to that playbook more strictly than Jayden Daniels, but they're different players.
Yes.
So I'm sure Cliff Kingsbury is figuring, okay, I have to play them in different ways. But here's the problem: Jayden is good at running. He likes to run. He instinctively runs. So when he's under pressure, because he is, thank you, O-line.
All the time.
Thank you, O-line. When he's under pressure, he's going to run. So they need to create situations where Jayden can make decisions to do things differently. But
Yeah.
Jayden is not going to do things differently unless he finds himself in a different position. Because when players are coming at Jayden Daniels, he's not going to stand there.
Right. And then
Okay.
you shouldn't. And he shouldn't. You know, that clock goes off. That clock goes off and
Yes.
he takes off. But Denise, another thing though, you know, that I have a problem with Cliff offense. This offense does not attack defense, the weakness. A lot of teams are playing a zone, which is they're giving us underneath. We don't even try to stretch the field vertically. We don't try to put pressure on their seams. You understand what I'm saying? So sometimes when your running game is not even working, why are we not getting our running backs in space? I've said this for the last couple of weeks. Get them in space. Space can be screen pass, not just that bubble pass, because that mess is so predictable. I'm sick of some of those screen passes because Cliff is so predictable. But why are we not doing any choice routes? Why are we not doing any halfback tosses or anything just to get them out in space and then let them make a play? We're still doing the same. I mean, sometimes when we line up, I know what we're about to Grady do. You know,
So
and
does
if I
our
see it, I know
opponent.
how defensive coordinators are.
Yeah, our opponent knows what we're going to do, and that's why we don't get very many yards. You know,
Yeah. But you know what though?
It's down now to 3 yards per carry. His average
Yes.
is now 3 when it was, like you said before, it was about 6.
Yeah.
So
7.
teams know what to do. They know how to read us. They know that we are very repetitive. And Cliff Kingsbury is not showing flexibility. He's not showing adaptability. He's not showing creativity when it comes to the plays. And he sees that they are ineffective and he is not changing them. So doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result, is the definition of what?
It's a definition, definitely not of winning. It's definition of
It's
failure.
a definition of insanity.
But look,
That's
let me ask you this though, Denise, because we look back in our glory years, right? When you know, and I understand the times were different, but good teams like when you look at the Philadelphia Eagles, even with the Kansas City Chiefs, teams know what they're going to run, and they like, so what? Stop it. Why can't we be that type of team, or why don't we have that type of DNA? Say, okay, you might know what we're going to do, but we're going to come and punch you in your mouth. You got to stop us. You know, we don't have that same grit.
Do
as
you
I
honestly
see.
think our coordinators
No.
are planning, preparing, and practicing our team to do that?
Nope.
See, there's a problem right there.
It shows.
Okay, but hey, look, if history is any indication of future performance, Cliff Kingsbury is on his way to a head coaching job somewhere in the NFL. But you didn't hear from me here at Two of a Kind Sports.
Oh no, Denise, it stopped. What the heck is? It stopped. It just stopped.
No, it still says recording.
It says on my end.
Nope, we're still going. We're still going.
And
thank goodness, because you don't want to miss out on this good info we're presenting to you today.
You see, all type of insanity is going on. You know, it's in the air.
Well, see, when it rains, it pours. Even on Two of a Kind Sports. See that burgundy and gold bad juju that I talk about is messing with us too.
Oh my goodness, this is crazy.
But hey, look, let's get back to the game real quick. Let's see. We were at the time where Chris Rodriguez scored the second and final touchdown for the Washington Commanders, which put us at 38-14. And that was the final score, folks. So we got beat really bad at home by Seattle.
Do you call that beat really bad, or do you call, like what I like to say, belt to what?
Belt to butt.
Yeah, exactly. Because we made Sam Darnold, mind you, Denise. Do you know we played him in man and we played him in zone? He only had a total of 4 incompletions all night. We did not get no pressure on him. He got, oh my gosh, we made him look like he was Tom Brady or Peyton Manning, somebody back there.
We
didn't make him see ghosts. We didn't make him see ghosts or anything.
No, we made Darnold look elite. We made Darnold look elite. Okay, he looks like an elite quarterback in this league. But you know what? Players do play our Commanders.
Yeah.
And they shine,
Right.
And
So,
this is a fault and failing of our team because our players
to
aren't
another
bringing out the
second year
best.
coach, to another second year coach that's just like DQ. Do these teams look like they're on the same level? No.
Well, but look at Dan Quinn. When you compare Dan Quinn to these young hotshot head coaches,
Mm-hmm.
he's not in their league. I mean,
No.
he's a nice guy and he takes accountability and he says the right things and he's, liked and all that stuff. To me, he doesn't come across as a tough head coach who is an authoritarian, who runs a tight ship, who has expectations that must be met. He's got expectations, but he doesn't seem to have expectations that must be met. Because when you have expectations that must be met, if those expectations are not met, there are consequences. And the consequences
but I agree with
short.
you, but we don't know what's being said into the locker room because he has not lost his locker room. So he's saying something right now.
Nice guys don't lose the locker room. When you're not a disciplinarian, you don't lose the locker room. You keep the locker room. When you treat people nice and you let people get away with failing, do those people dislike you? I don't think so. On your job, if somebody still gets paid and they don't do their job, that's not the one hating the supervisor. Right. They're okay with it because guess what? They're still getting paid for poor performance.
Right.
So I don't need.
Where do we go? So where do we go from here now? The state that we're in now, right? Mm-hmm. We already said this is a code red. Now that we're here, what do we do? What do you like to see us going forward? As far as coach, should there be any coaching changes? Should there be any player personnel moves? Where do we go now? Because now we already know we're mathematically out of it for the year. As far as any playoff contentions, ladies and gentlemen, get that out your head. Now we just want to play. we want to play with a sense of pride. Some people say tank. I'm going to tell you, one thing you're going to hear from D-Nice, I'm never going to tank because that's a loser man's mentality to say that's tank. You want to play for the best position that you can get. I want to see this team, regardless, yes, injuries have, play this thing with us this year, but we're playing for pride. So I want to see us to build onto, for next year. I want to see some of these younger players now start to get more time. Maybe that might be sitting Bobby a little bit more at times, even though he's second in the lead in tackles. But we need to start seeing some of this young youth. He's third now.
Bobby Wagner dropped to 3.
Yeah, we don't know what we really have. So, and that's why I said prior, it's a gift and a curse from last year because we don't know what we have in the bottom third of this roster. So, let's, with our last few minutes that we have left, Denise, what do you expect now? Where do you see this team going? And what would you like to see the coaches do from here, for the rest of the season?
I don't have high expectations. This team wouldn't get rid of a kicker who's unsteady. This team in three games, this is the third consecutive game where our team has not even attempted a field goal. So I'm seeing a head coach who is not willing to let go of a kicker.
Mm-hmm.
An unsteady, unstable kicker with a bad back.
Yeah.
Not willing to let him go. So I'm not looking for him to fire Joe Whitt. He likes Joe Whitt. Joe Whitt is going to come down from the booth. He's going to be on the field, which
he'll be fired at the end of the season, though. I really believe that.
Well, and if he is, that's fine. But who else can get fired too? Cliff Kingsbury. I'm not seeing anything impressive from this offense.
I think he's going to get a head coaching job, but
if history is any indication, we have had offensive coordinators who have operated somehow under the radar when it comes to all the criticism and the hatred and all of the complaints, and they go to a different team and they become a good coach.
Coaching well, play well. It's something. That's why I said it's a bad juju on this Washington franchise.
But you know what? We just have to keep trying to see what will work here. Now, when you get a
We've been doing
nice
that for
guy,
over 25 years. What people
well,
pay,
we have new
listen.
management now. We have
Yeah,
new
but
management now,
that's why I
and they
say
have
last
to
year we
figure
should.
out
I
what
wish we
works.
didn't win. I wish we didn't win last year because
Well, we
now
did win
I
last year,
know,
and we
I know,
enjoyed last
and
year.
that's
But
the
look,
problem. That's the
it's not
problem.
their fault that people can't move on and live in the present. That is not their fault.
Yeah.
Because none of those players would say, you know what, I would prefer to have lost last year so
Yes.
these fans could feel better. Absolutely not.
Hmm.
You felt good when it happened. That's the only thing that matters. You feel good when it happens. So we are burgundy and gold. We know what it's like to go through bad times. And this right now is a bad time, and this too shall pass. We have new management. Now see, everybody's talking about, oh, we have a new owner, oh, we have new management, we have a new attitude. It was we have a new attitude. Come on, Patty LaBelle. We had a new attitude. So
Yeah.
now that we have a bad season, now all of a sudden people are losing hope and losing faith.
Yeah, some people are jumping off the bandwagon. I'm not though. Some people are like,
And
"Oh, it's the
those
same
same
old
people,
Washington team." I mean, you should hear some of the comments, Denise. I
I
mean,
don't pay attention to the
it is
comments because those
sickening.
same people who jump off, jump back on. We've seen that over the
Yeah.
years, so that's no
Yes.
big deal. They jump off, they jump on, big deal.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
because this team strings two wins together. I said it before, I'll say it again. This team strings two wins together, and people will have them right back in the Super Bowl. So it doesn't matter. But look, Dan Quinn to me is as a head coach, he's too soft.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not expecting much. Joe Witt, I hope he, by coming out of the booth and getting down on the field,
Bye
is more
bye.
interactive
I
with
used to
his
be a fan
players.
of him. I used to be a fan of him. I'm ready for him to go.
I'm not a
I'm
fan
tired
of
of all the
any of
talk.
them.
I'm ready for him to go.
Well, you know what? Again, if you want to get rid of Joe Witt, fine.
Mm-hmm.
But you can take Cliff Kingsbury with
He can
him,
go too. He can go
and
too.
and
We can bring
and
in Mike
Dan
McDaniels
Quinn too.
once Mike McDaniels get fired from the Dolphins. We can bring him in as an OC. Come on.
Well, look, and I don't mind if Dan Quinn goes as well. He's not effective
That's
either.
not going to happen yet. That's not going to happen yet.
Well, see, here it is. A lot of things are not going to happen.
Well, some
Okay,
of those
with
changes
this
going to
team,
happen.
in terms of getting better, in terms of making the necessary changes, a lot of things on this team aren't going to happen, and that's why we are where we are.
Well,
Because
you're
the
gonna have to do
problem,
something because you're gonna have that fan base. Some of the fan base is already trying to turn on not just DQ, but turn on AP. So at this end of this off season, they're gonna have to do something, Denise.
they've already spent their money, darling.
No, but we have 38 million in cap, and that's another thing that I'm very upset about. What the hell are we having all this cap money for, and we're not doing nothing to be proactive out here to get better? I don't understand. What are we holding on to the cap money for? That doesn't make
They'll
sense
make
to me.
changes. I guess they wanted to see what is. So they see now it's not working.
Yes.
So with that cap money, they can make necessary changes. So we'll see what we see. But look, if I can't get a faulty kicker fired, I'm not putting my faith in this management to do anything meaningful in the near future, in the foreseeable future. So
Yes.
next season will present its own problems, and its own challenges, but it will also lay forward a lot of opportunities for improvement because there is a lot of room for improvement. So I will just let the powers that be cook.
Mm-hmm.
I will let them cook and
Let them
see what
cook.
they come up
Let
with.
them cook. It's
Because
gonna be
last
hard.
year it's turning out to be a fluke. Okay.
Yeah.
Return of the Jedi turned out to be the Empire Strikes Back.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Jayden Daniels needs to, number one, he needs to gain some weight, okay, because he's not sturdy enough, because he's been injured too much already. He needs to gain weight, get sturdy, and he needs to change the way he plays. And we need to have an O-line that can defend him and give him some proper pass rush protection so he doesn't feel the need and the sense of urgency to have to run every other play.
Absolutely. Okay, folks. Well, that's
all I have for you, folks.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, that's all we have. I want to say, before we give our closing remarks, I want to say a shout out to Art Monk. Thank you, Art Monk, for all the years that you gave us. Salute to you. I wish that we had a better outcome, but I'm proud of you. I'm happy that now number 81 will never ever be worn as a Washington Commander / Redskins ever again. So he was already up in the rafters, for his in the Ring of Honor, but now we actually have his jersey retired. So salute and shout out to Art Monk.
Yes, congratulations to a legend.
And I'm glad I got to see you.
Yes, and I'm glad our team finally got around to it. Our team has been late, honoring our champions, but at least they have gotten around to it. And I want to commend the organization for honoring our Art Monk while he's still alive and still doing it posthumously.
Long term, it should have been done a long time ago. Absolutely.
Yes. But at least he's still alive and looking great and in great shape where he could see it and enjoy receiving his flowers for all of his effort and all of his super achievements. So congratulations to Art Monk.
Yep. Okay, Denise, well, that's all we have for week 9 recap of the Washington Commanders. The Seattle Seahawks, it was what it was. We truly appreciate all of you for, for tuning in and supporting our channel. But please do us a favor. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and smash that bell icon and select all so you never miss when we go live, or drop a brand new video. Denise, what are your closing remarks before I say what I have to say?
Keep raising hell.
Keep raising hell. That's what we got to do. And until the next time, ladies and gentlemen, I want to tell everybody, love someone, hug someone. Thank you for looking at the next episode of Two of a Kind Sports. Thank you for watching D Nice and Denise. We see you next week.
Bye-bye.